Hello everyone, welcome to Real Reds Talk. Ineos are currently cleaning house and there are multiple parts being moved as we speak right now. Talks of even more appointments being made. Tenag's been talking to the media. We've got updates on Dan Ashworth, further updates, a bit of back and forth there between Newcastle and Manchester United, quotes from the special one. I mean, so much stuff to talk about. So please do smash a like on the video, and please do, even more importantly, get involved in the comments section, get your questions in, get your opinions in, and we shall discuss it together, because this isn't just a show, me and Sam, it's me, Sam, and you guys. So please do get involved. We're going to kick things off with the kind of stadium investment and everything that's going on in there. A little bit of updates. I know we've spoken about the stadium in depth, but there are kind of significant little tweaks here. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have already approached potential investment partners at home and abroad as they rapidly seek to rebuild or refurbish Old Trafford. Rebuilding on neighbouring land has become the favourable option for a 5-year redevelopment of Old Trafford, and Sir Jim is making progress on plans for a 90,000 capacity new Old Trafford, is what they're calling it. So maybe they've binned off the kind of Wembley of the North line that went with it. Like I said, Sam, we spoke about the stadium in length, but what timescale, first and foremost, do you think? How long do you think this will take, in your opinion? And what features would you like to see with this new stadium, if you've even thought that deep into it?
I think I sort of read somewhere it's a 5-year development. I believe that's what I've read.
Yeah, 5 years.
I think that's what I've read. Obviously,
remember how long Tottenham's took?
I can't remember off the top of my head. But obviously, we're building stuff of that magnitude. There's always going to be delays, isn't there? There's always going to be things that happen, unforeseen circumstances, shall we say? So you could say 5 years, but it could well take 6, 7. Like, it just depends on the sort of difficulty of like what they're trying to build. In terms of what I would want to see, I'd love if we just pushed it to 100,000 just so we're the biggest. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just do 100,000, and then even if Liverpool put another stand on the other stadium, and even if Tottenham try and extend, we're still going to be the biggest. I'd like that. That'd be good. Just so we can have a nice round capacity. The capacity at Old Trafford today is 100,000. That'd be good.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think modernising everything. So I know you're obsessed with the pints that pour themselves at Tottenham Hotspur. So
don't even build a stadium, mate. That's what I'm moved about.
But like hospitality would be great, because the whole point of Spurs is you go in and you spend the day in the stadium, because they got bars, they got restaurants, there's stuff in there. So you can do that. You can have a brand new mega store within the stadium, so you get people in there nice and early. You could have a fan park outside, so if people want, it's a nice summery day. Not that we get many in Manchester, but we do get a few. You could be outside having a pint, some food, chatting with your mates, like a nice big fan park. You could have a youth stadium next door, women's stadium next door, so then you could even time it. Maybe they change the game time, so you have the women's game kick off at like 12, women's game finishes, and then the men's game's at 3 o'clock, so then everybody can just shuffle over or check out the women's game and stuff, and that pushes the women's game up. The youth game, you can do the same thing, so that kind of stuff. And then just the best facilities in class, so like the best seating, loads of standing sections, like safe standing would be fantastic. Get the atmosphere going. The best changing room in the world. I don't know if you've done the stadium tour recently, but I took my girlfriend on it, and like you'd be surprised how small the United changing room is, and how sort of like not modern it looks. Like, it has been done up recently, but it doesn't look fantastic. And then just like the outside, like the design, because all these stadium designs like they come out with are like really interesting, so I'd love to see what they did with it. Maybe they could incorporate old bits of Old Trafford, maybe take like the scaffolding bit on the south stand and shit like that. That'd be really interesting. But just something that is world class, top of the line, that every other stadium is envious of, and is the best facility in not just in Europe but maybe in the world. That's what I want to see, and we need to push it as close to that as possible, and just make it as fan friendly as possible as well. Like, it has to be about the match going fan. That's the most important thing. Match going fan has to be the central sort of feature of that, and that's what I want to see. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. Really interesting.
I like that point that you make, because consult the fans. I think I've seen bits about that saying that's mega important, because they're the ones who are turning up to the games week in, week out, win, lose, draw. So that they should be the forefront of who you're consulting when it comes to things like this. And the experience, again, you're absolutely bang on with that. You have to make it like the potential to turn that, even just the area, in general, the amount of things you could do with that, like if you give that to a developer, they'd be like, listen, mate, with the brand of United and the fan base that they have, this could be fucking enormous. And obviously, it's going to line the pockets, so you get the best of both worlds in a business sense. So
you could have
it just makes absolute sense.
You could have a stage outside the stadium, a concert, like just before the match starts, get everybody going, singing and like fun, loads of different bars, loads of different restaurants. Fan experiences. Maybe you could do autograph signings with like legends in like a play. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you just turn it into this hub, this area where just everything's popping off on a match day and just stuff is happening, and you want to get down there like 3 hours before match day to check it all out, rather than like what I normally do is like 5-10 minutes beforehand go in, so I don't have to spend that much time physically around the area, because it's fucking horrible area at the minute. It's just not great.
I mean, you don't have to be a fucking expert to look at this and just think this so like we don't have to exactly wave a magic wand. There's just ideas you can come off the top of your head like we have to make it a better experience. So I'm glad they're actually taking a look at that. It's going to take a while, like we said, but it's nice that the actual cogs are in motion now, and we know something's actually going to happen. And that's been the theme, I think, with Ineos in general. In it, they seem to be cracking on with things and getting shit done, which is just unlike us. So it's a surprise to a lot of the fan base. And this continues that theme with the new kind of director that's being linked with us, or like assistant director, and I'm not sure his exact role. Dan Errington's mentioned him in the chat there. Would Jason Wilcox work alongside Ashworth? I think so. I think that's what they're going to go with.
Underneath, I think he'd work underneath Dan Ashworth. Yeah. I think Dan Ashworth would be like the top guy in terms of like recruitment and the signings and stuff like that, and then he'd have a team below him, which I think this Jason Wilcox would be a part of, I believe.
Yeah, so I think he's the director at Southampton at the moment, but prior to that, he was the academy director at Man City, up until obviously 2023, until he moved to Southampton. So that's why Omar Barada has a good relationship with him, knows him extremely well, has recommended him as well. So he's kind of been outlined as a possible addition, which is interesting. Not Paul Mitchell that was expecting, Sam, but another man who's kind of integral to what Man City were doing, and I hate doing it because it's one of our rivals, but
it's true,
they are successful. They have developed into this top class club, and he's been a cog in that wheel. So if that's do you think that's another coup getting him in?
Yeah, like I read some stuff onto him, and apparently he was responsible for the, like Phil Foden's signing for the City Academy, and the reason he's become like the guy he is was heavily involved in like all the sort of recruitment around the sort of young players that they've got in recently, like Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, that kind of stuff. So revamped their academy and revamped their sort of youth setup and the way they sort of integrate players, which is something we've needed doing for a long time. Like we've still had academy people come through because of our history and stuff like that, but we need to be doing better. Like we've lost players to Man City, we've lost young prospects to Man City, we've lost prospects to Liverpool, etc., because we're not the team we are anymore, and they know they've got a better chance of winning something and getting in the team there than they have at Manchester United, because Manchester United, we just seem to stick with the same old people even if they're not performing, and they don't get chances. Like you've seen it go on and on and on for years and years, because we don't have the academy structure to be like, right, this guy's ready to feed into the team, let's bring him in, let's accommodate all that sort of stuff. We've only just started seeing it under Ten Hag. We've seen like the rise of Kobbie Mainoo, he's sort of been bled and scored, Garnacho's coming. So you've seen that slowly come back, but for a long time we haven't seen it. Like Louis van Gaal bought ready-made players. Rashford made it through, but it was due to injury. Jose, not a big fan of the youth players. He likes to just buy ready-made players. So Ollie did start to do it, but I think, again, he was under scrutiny and under sort of things to win and develop and be there, like, because he didn't have that Ineos backing. So, yeah, we need a revolution on all fronts, not just transfer policy, but youth system, academy prospects, training. Like, I don't know if we're going to touch on the sort of stuff that they were looking at. They got Kenyan runners in and stuff. But that's literally the next topic. Everything he's looking at, man, because everything is broken, everything is fucked, everything doesn't work as good as it should do, and every other team and club has top class facilities, top class people, and we should too.
Yeah, 100%. Disco Stu is in the chat. Big up Disco Stu, saying, is Mbappe the only transfer story we've not been linked to in recent history? And I think we can both say, give it time. Give it time.
Summertime. near summertime, we'll definitely get. Neil Custard is typing something right now. I guarantee 100%. It. Guarantee it.
We know United that well. We know within the next month or two there'll be an Mbappe story, trust me. If Madrid can't finalise this Mbappe deal, United are ready to attack that deal. You'll see something along the lines of that. Brian is also in the chat. Big up to Brian, a long-term supporter of the channel, saying, is Jason any relation to Toyo, 80s throwback? I will not get that reference. I don't know.
Toyo Wilcox. I know the name. Course. I know the name, but I don't know what she did. Was she a singer, Brian? Refresh my memory. I think she was a singer. I believe. Yeah. Never
heard of him or her or whoever it is. But we move. Now, the thing you literally just mentioned, Ineos are apparently looking at Kenyan running coaches. They've been introduced to players at Nice, I believe, to give tips to players on pace explosions and being quicker off the mark. Similarly, when wing-backs at the French club began to suffer from muscle problems, more common with the stop-start nature of rugby, then football medical experts from the All Blacks were brought in to assist in treatment and prevention. Are these the small margins to be expected?
There you go. That's what we were saying last week. Like he did it with cycling, the whole pillow story that I said, like bringing a pillow for home, you better sleep, which means you perform better. And yeah, people are, is that really going to make a difference? It's like, well, it might make, say, 0.5 of a difference, or I make that 1% of a difference. But say you do hundreds of these little things, they'll make up a big difference. They'll make up like 30-40%, and like 30-40% margins in professional high level football is a lot. Like if you can get a slight edge and you can go 5% longer, 10% longer than the opposition, or you have less injuries than your opposition, or you are able to be quicker than your opposition, then you're probably going to win more games more often than not. Like that, it's just simple mathematics. And I'm glad we're looking at stuff, because in the past we've just sort of chucked money at a star signing and just hoped it solved everything. And it doesn't. You've seen City took, was it 4 years to win a title, I think, after they got an investment. I believe that's how long they took to win a title. So it doesn't take that long. Like if you get the right people in place and the right sort of stuff and the people who know what they're doing, it doesn't take that long. So we could well be within a chance of winning something within the next 4 or 5 years if we get it correct. So why not try everything possible? If it doesn't work, then you discard it. If it works, you take it with you. Like, it's that simple.
If I'm wrong, didn't Fergie he didn't bring in Kenyan runners and things like that? But didn't he bring in after do you remember that situation with the Chile miners who they had all they got trapped in there? I'm sure there was a story about Fergie bringing in the actual people into the thing and he was talking through how they all worked together as a team and how they communicated and how they got through it together and things like that. It makes such a difference, because you look at it in a situation as a club, as a team, and you're like, fucking hell, if they can pull it together in the situation they was in, and if they're bringing in people like Kenyan runners and all these kind of things, it's promising, because you don't hear things like that the past 10 years. None of that shit had happened because the Glazers just left, Murta and Arnold to fucking, pull up the pants and try fucking pull off a transfer. So, I'm really, really liking this kind of stuff. It's everything a United fan wants to hear, really. It's very, very promising. And again, that extends to Dan Ashworth. More and more updates with this guy. A lot of people happy about the potential of him coming into the club as a sporting director. But there has been a slight stumbling block with the fee that's going to be paid. So basically, Manchester United would be prepared to wait for Dan Ashworth to complete a period of gardening leave rather than pay a compensation they feel is excessive. There's still hope a compromise will be reached, but they could settle for contractual compensation and gardening leave. Progress is expected next week. And at the start of this week, Dan Ashworth told United, this from Muppeteers, that he wants to leave, he wants the job at United, and he intends to go. So the intent is there. Do you think this could get a little bit messy if we don't find middle ground? Because obviously Newcastle letting him go to United is obviously, increasing our kind of chances. So they're going to be hesitant, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's just about compromise being found, like how much we have to pay Newcastle to get him now. I think he ends up at United no matter what, but whether that's
you just don't want to wait, though, innit? That's
I understand that. Like, it's frustrating, but at the same time, Ineos are setting the stall out. They're not going to overpay, and they're not going to pay stupid money for anybody, regard players, staff, whatever it is. They're not going to do it. So that's what they're setting the stall out with. And if it means he has to wait a year, but then the message gets through to clubs and other like sort of entities that we're not going to overpay, we're not going to be the same United we're not going to do the same stupid shit that we were doing.
Yeah.
We then end up better prices for players, we're able to negotiate better, all that sort of stuff sort of rolls into one. So you sort of have to take a few lumps in the beginning just to set your stall out and just to sort of thing, because we've said that so many times, we're not going to overpay this year, and what do we always do? We collapse and then we overpay, and it's just, and then every club knows we can just take the absolute piss because United will probably pay it. So
yeah, I think that's the main point in it. One way we're going to get him, he's going to join United. It's just if we have to wait, then it's a bit shit because you want him to get into it now. He's probably already thinking about certain things. I hope at this present moment in time.
I hope they find a negotiation point where they get a bit of money. United get him early, but everybody's happy. I think Ineos are good negotiators. I think that it's already been made clear that they've negotiated to buy the club in the first place from the Glazers. They've negotiated to get Omar Barada out of there. They've sold the thing to Dan Ashworth, so I think they'll have the right people around and be able to negotiate something. So I'm sure we'll get him, and we'll get him immediately. I don't know how much that will cost at the end of the day. They're talking like, is it up to 10 million or something like that? Yeah. So,
but what that's going to do long term is
there you go.
Worth it, isn't it?
It's like, is it worth just biting the bullet and paying it?
You can't fucking spend 85 million quid on Anthony and then kind of and ah about 10 million over someone who's going to literally change the future of your club. Yeah. So just fucking pay the money because it's going to be worth it. I was going to read out a couple of comments.
Sure.
Brian showing his age says Disco Stu. Shazwan says the percentage Eric Ten Hag will be fired at the end of the season. Give me a percentage, Sam.
Fired?
Yeah. It's like Vince McMahon. You're fired.
I'd say the percentage he gets fired is probably like 30% at the minute.
I was going to go 35. 35%. I agree.
I don't think it's high at the minute. If he goes on a run and he loses like say 8, 9, 10 games, probably goes up quite a lot. But I think if he continues the form that he's on and we win most of our games and we have a good cup run, I think he probably keeps his job. But yeah, I'd say 30%.
Interesting. Ask us in the summer, we might change our mind. Brian's saying singer, actress, and TV presenter. I didn't know that was on your CV, Brian, but well done to yourself.
I think that's Target Wilcox.
Yeah, no. Think of the piss. Harrison Lang says, hi, lads. Really impressed with the recent appointments, but I'm unsure about Dan Ashworth if he's going to be on a 1-year gardening leave. Are you telling me, Harrison, you don't want to wait? And if so, I'm in that same boat as you, sir. But it's better than John Murter, innit? Let's be honest. Anything's better than John Murter at this point. So it is what it is. John Murter will want to wear that news, won't he? Because he'll be like, I'm staying here for another year.
Maybe he unofficially works for United. Maybe we do it like a bit sneaky. Like he's not getting paid. He's not working for us. But maybe we chuck him like a consultancy fee or something, and then he just sends stuff.
Send an email from his college email like Dan _Ashworth.
Yeah. Not Dan Ashworth at hotmail.com. Or he just sends it to John Murter and go, right, you present this.
Yeah,
and you
these
pretend
are your ideas.
Yeah, these are your ideas, John.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off, John. You didn't come up with that.
Yeah. So like maybe they do that, but I hope they come to some sort of negotiation because it'll be better for both clubs, because you don't want a guy pissed off with you sitting around on gardening leave where you have to pay him, knowing he's going to your rivals. You'd rather just have to clean break and then get your person in, whoever it is. So
why is it called gardening leave?
It's basically because they can't officially stop you working because that's illegal. So you're basically being sent home to work on your garden, but you're still getting paid. Pretty much, yeah. Like you're getting paid to not go to the competition. That's essentially what it is. A lot of big companies, like I've had it for companies before. Like I worked for a model agency. When I left, I was put on gardening leave if I wanted to join any other agencies. So it's just a way of protecting it, so you can't then take all your contacts, all your secrets straight to the thing and immediately things. So I think that's all it's about. So I think you can negotiate that out if you pay out a certain amount of money. The other company pays out a certain amount of money, which I think is what United are trying to do.
I just had thumbnails in mind of gardening leave and Dan Ashworth with like gardening gloves and a rake and like fucking lawnmower in his hand and stuff. Yeah, never knew that. You learn something new every day. This isn't just a podcast. This is fucking educational as well. So have some of that. England team spent time with Royal Marine Commandos before one of their tournaments. Exactly. I think those things help. For sure. It's not going to make it negative, is it? It's only ever going to boost it, really. So, yeah. Set out our stall on transfers. We're willing to let go though. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If he's that important, they should pay it. Harrison, I'm with you, mate. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Who's this Wilcox? We did explain it before, Charlie, but he's basically a guy who was at the academy director at Man City for quite a while. That's why Omar Barada has a bit of a relationship with him, but he's now the director at Southampton at the moment. So, yeah, he's got a relatively good CV, I would say. 10 to 15 million to skip gardening leave, do it.
Yeah.
And who will Wilcox report to? Ashworth isn't here, still the interim sporting director. I don't know. There's a lot ongoing at the moment. It may not even be Wilcox. It may be, a different guy. There's been so many people that have been linked.
They spoke to Wilcox. They're speaking to
Julian Ward, is it?
Yeah, and then who's the Brighton guy? Who's the Brighton guy?
I don't know.
Let me Google.
Is that many fucking people that are looking? Obviously, when Ineos were kind of lining all this situation up, they would have had 5 candidates at least, probably in each position.
Sam Jewell, that's the Brighton, the head of recruitment at Brighton. Obviously, Ashworth knows him really, really well, and this is the guy who's responsible for like Matoma, Encino, McAllister, Casido. Like he's a good sort of guy to have. So I think he's been spoke to as well. But I think Chelsea have also made a move for him.
Fuck that.
So
Chelsea,
man. So
not a chance. I think a lot of Premier League clubs are going to be on pins, aren't they, with these kind of... Because United just seem to be doing a bit of a... Well, Ineos, should I say, seems to be doing a bit of like a Abramovich. Remember Abramovich was just fucking going in, taking players, taking sporting directors, left, right and centre. Didn't they take one off us? The one before David Gill? Peter
Kenyon.
Is it Peter Kenyon?
Yeah.
Didn't Chelsea take him off us?
So we took him...
So,
we took him from Everton, and then Chelsea took him from us. And then I think he ended up back at Everton as well, I think.
Yeah, interesting. So a lot of pieces being moved around at the top, trying to fit that jigsaw. One man who remained is Erik ten Hag, who has been speaking to the media today about all the situations that are ongoing. And he says, I think it's very important you are on one page about football philosophy, about football tactics, about the profiles of the players you need in the team. So it's very important to have very good communication so you get the right players. It is one of the most important factors to develop a good team, that you have the right players but also the right characters. That means you have to do the right work and be aligned, and it's a long process to get the right players in. Do you think Erik ten Hag is now looking forward to the summer, and once everything is in place, he's got no excuses, right?
Yeah, like he said, didn't he, when we were going for that sort of bad run, it's like, once I get my players back, you'll see something different. And to be fair to him, we've got results. Yeah. So I think we need to take responsibility away from him in terms of like he is the be all and end all of like transfers, because let's face it, he's been a bit hit and miss, hasn't he? Like Lisandro Martinez, good signing. Christian Eriksen, for the most part, good signing. But then you got Anthony, questionable. Terrell Malacia, questionable. Onana, questionable. So it's 50-50, and I think you can't continue on just signing Dutch players and players you worked with and players you faced, or you know what I mean? You can't just carry on like that. Like, it just doesn't lead to success just because you know them and you trust them. You need to have quality players from outside your sphere of like influence in your sort of idea. Like, look at Brighton. Do you think De Zerbi knew anything about half the players that have been brought in? I don't think so. Like, no. I doubt it.
You would have had a prototype in it of what he wanted, basically.
Like, I've used the example before. Like, Jurgen Klopp didn't want Salah originally. Like, he did. I don't think he. I think he asked. I didn't think he wanted Alisson either. I don't think he was after Alisson. But he wanted Van Dijk. I believe Van Dijk was his signing. So you can have an input as a manager and you can have preference, but I think you have to just be clear with what the sort of style of play you want, the type of player you want, and the sort of way they're going to fit into your team. And then your scouting team, your recruitment department that we're building currently can then go out and find these players for you, bring them to you, and they'll have a list of, say, 5 to 10 in each position that you want, and then each one has got, like, say, This guy's old enough. This guy's ready to go in the team right now, but it's probably going to cost a lot of money. This guy's a sort of prospect. He's going to take a couple of years, but he's a bit cheaper. This guy's a bit of a wild card, but maybe we could do something. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just all different things. Whereas our previous recruitment policy was just, we've got a list of 500 right backs. Who are we signing? Wan-Bissaka. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, anybody didn't see that coming. Like, it's so backwards. And I think if he gets back to the hill this summer and we have a proper recruitment strategy in place with the best people and he fails, I don't think he has any excuses. I don't think he has any excuses.
No. And the thing is as well, because he's already had 2 years by the end of this season, it's not one of those where you can go, new structure, give him time, couple years. Like, it's his 3rd year going into next season. So, things are going to be put in place. Hopefully after a good summer we can push on. But that's when he'll really be judged. Next season will be a huge magnifying glass, and even more pressure is because during the November, December months, there was mega pressure from certain fans, to get rid of him. Even some people on the channel like, you know what? It's hard to argue with the results at the minute, but we just get through this tough patch, and we'll see how he does when the players come back. And so far, we haven't lost this year, so we've been okay. He's also been speaking about a couple of the players you mentioned, Aaron Wan-Bissaka there. He's still out at the moment. It's going to take some weeks because he's picked up another injury in training, so he's missing. So obviously Dalot will be playing there anyway, but we don't have an option there to put Dalot on the left, with Shaw again being unavailable for Luton, or he might be available. It's fucking all over the place. Mason Mount and Tyrone Malacio are going to take some more weeks as well. I mean, is he just like, is there any point? Like, how many times have we heard that?
Has Malacia played a game this season? I don't think so, has he?
No, he's been out since pre-season.
Like, he didn't get a game in pre-season either, did he? He was out in pre-season.
No, he didn't even. He had,
what the fuck
he started.
What the fuck's he done? What happened? Did he chop his leg off?
Like, must have been really bad.
Like, my God, whatever this injury is, man, I hope it's not going to affect his career, because he's been out over halfway through the season now, and he didn't even play pre-season.
You can't miss that much football, can you? And that is a long process to get back into fitness. He's not had a pre-season, so you have to get up to them levels first, and then regular game time. So in the actual fact, he's not. He's going to play 3 games probably maximum.
That's if he comes back.
Up young potential left back when we've already got an injury-prone left back.
That's if he comes back, by the way, because it could be in 3-4 weeks' time. He could be he's still a few weeks away, he's still not here. Do you know what I mean? It could just be a season-long injury, which is just worrying, really fucking worrying. And the fact that we've let Reguilon go back and we've let Alvaro Fernandez go just leaves us super fucking short in that area, man. So short.
Reguilon as well, doing really well for Brentford. I've watched him a couple of times. He's been fucking really good for him. So yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it, at left back. I don't want to see Victor Lindelof there. We know what. No. That Villa game was just oh, Jesus Christ. Don't play him there.
I would call that Harry Amas up. He's been in first team training and he's a full back.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not? Because I don't want to see Victor Lindelof at full back, man. I can't do that again.
I agree. I'm worried about Mason Mount as well, man, because I felt like before he got that injury, whatever fucking injury it is, I felt like he was starting to get into gear a little bit, start to get to grips with the team, and he was having decent performances, and then just I don't know, just seemed mega injury prone. I know he had a thing with his pelvis towards the end of last season with Chelsea, but that was his first, big one. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a thigh injury or something at the moment.
Before that as well,
60 million quid we've fucking spent on him.
Before that as well, he played a full season and was Chelsea's player of the season. Before that, and he didn't have an injury, so I don't know where they've come from, these injuries. Is it our medical department? Is people that it just seems to affect United quite heavily every season. It just seems like our medical department ain't up to scratch, or we're not watching load levels or strains, and we're playing players when we shouldn't and stuff like that. It just seems weird, man. It seems really weird.
It's very bizarre. So yeah, hopefully they're back soon, because I want to see him. It'd be nice depth, bring back Mount, bring back Malacio. We need left backs. We actually really could do with them at the moment. So, yeah, hopefully they're back shortly. Last thing I wanted to discuss, the special one has been on with Rio Ferdinand and Howson.
Respect.
Lucky bastards. yeah, I watched a bit of it. I've seen bits. I've not watched the whole thing yet, but I've seen certain quotes coming out from there, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on the quotes. The one that stuck out to me from what I saw: "Nobody did better than me after I left. Was a hell of a job." You can tell this is Mourinho. I didn't have to say it's Mourinho. The way that started, you do it instantly. "Nobody did better than me after I left. Was a hell of a job to win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League. Was great too." He goes on and mentions things how much he loved the club. Obviously, we did a show last week or the week before about him being linked with the United again and looking to get back into management and all this kind of stuff. How do you feel about Jose now the dust has settled, the kind of negative cloud that was upon? Do you still think he's United's best manager since?
We did a show, did we rank the managers? I believe
we did.
Did Jose win? Was he at the top?
I think you put Ollie quite high as well, because I remember you saying like the style of football, the memories.
Yeah, I think in terms of trophies and like finishes, you probably got to put Jose up there, aren't you? Like he won Europa League, he won was it the League Cup?
League Cup against Southampton, and then he did the fake treble and then the charity shield as well.
I'm not counting that. And then he finished second to a very, very good Manchester City side at the time. So in terms of trophies, the football was a bit. It's a bit shit, wasn't it?
Very pragmatic, wasn't it? Very pragmatic.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
Ball.
It wasn't fun, but like he did win trophies and he was successful. So I understand what he's been in terms of like football that I enjoyed watching post Fergie. Ollie's probably the closest thing. Like I enjoyed watching, but unfortunately didn't win anything. So it's like, do you want mid-level trophies but a very boring style to watch, or do you want no trophies and want to actually be entertained and enjoy the football? It's just like, which one do you want?
Difficult, innit? The fans want the best of both worlds, of course. That's the ideal situation. Yeah. But Jose did win. He did win trophies. Tell you what, Carrick Ball was all right as well for the 2 games he was in charge.
He's doing well. He's doing well at Butter as well, isn't he? He's doing a decent job there. So, like, I think he's being linked with West Ham as well. I think Moyes on the ropes again, isn't he? At West Ham. So.
Yeah, I think he's only got like a year left on his contract. David Moyes as well. They might be getting rid of him, which I just think is fucking ridiculous in my opinion. But. Joe, you know what? I love Joe. I want him to get a job back in the Premier League. I know it's not going to be United, but I want him to go get a team. I just love his personality. I love his conviction and how strong. And he is losing it a little bit, but no one can tell me the Premier League ain't better without that man in it. Because the clips you get off him just,
I think football's passed him by in terms of like elite management. Like I think the elite managers are clearly like people like Klopp, people like Pep. And then probably underneath that, you've probably got the likes of like Ten Hag, De Zerbi, Thomas Frank, Emery. That they're the sort of the next bracket, and it's just like waiting for one of them to sort of push up into that top 2. And maybe you do get one of those going in, because with Klopp leaving Liverpool at the end of the season, maybe you see one of them break through eventually. And like Pep's gonna go as well eventually. Like he will leave City eventually. Like he can't be there forever. Hopefully, anyway, because fucking hell, I'm sick of it.
We're fucked if he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucked.
So I think, he's been great for United. I wish we got him straight after Fergie. I think we would have won a title had we got him straight after Fergie instead of Moyes. I think we probably would have won a title, because that team that Fergie left was a title-winning team, and Moyes just cocked it up in all sorts of ways, didn't he? Just got rid of
wanted to bring his own
staff in, turned down Tony Cruz and stuff like just stupid shit like that. So I think if we would have got him in straight after Fergie, we probably would have won a title. And I think he's probably one of the best managers of all time in terms of, if you look at the trophies he's won, things he's done. He's probably right up there with the likes of Pep, the likes of Ancelotti, the likes of Fergie. Like he's up there. Like he's a fantastic manager. But it's just passed him by, and it happens to like most managers. Like not all managers can be Pep, not all managers can be Fergie, where they just last for decades and decades at the top. Like football, cyclical. Like sometimes you just find yourself.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did bounce back with a certain team if he got the right expenditure, because people forget. He'd done a decent job at Roma, won the first trophy for years, and the spend, his net spend was like minus. So he's done a good job there. He'd done a good job, I think, at Tottenham for the most part. But Tottenham being Tottenham, they just didn't match in DNA wise. I don't think
he didn't let him win a title, like a trophy either. Like he got to a final, and I think if he would have took that final, they probably would have won it. Like
he wins,
he's a king of like. It wouldn't have been fun. It would have been nice to watch.
Oh, no.
But he gets a 1-0 win in the final, and he fucking holds on to it, and you ain't getting past.
Yeah.
So
he knows how to. I'd love to see his percentage in finals. What he's won.
It's probably pretty good. It's probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's got to be on it. One of the best.
And Harry Kane would have a trophy by now because he doesn't look like he's going to get one with Bayern Munich. So
that's so funny. That is so fucking funny. If he goes there, you don't win the league. Leverkusen win it. I don't know where they are in the DFB Pokal. I think
they're out.
The other kind of cups. Oh, they're out.
They're out of the German Cup. Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So it's the Champions, and then they got
in the Champions League.
They got beat. They got beat by Lazio. So.
Harry Kane, man. Harry Kane curse is real.
Yeah.
Right, let me read out the last few comments. Let's have a look. There's quite a few. Who will? Oh, we already said that. Dan saying thought Ashworth was the guy that scouted Casado, Cucurella, and others from Brighton. It was, but it was more like a network. I think both of them together at Brighton. The geezer Sam mentioned. Sorry,
he was the head. I think he was like the figurehead, and then the guys below him, like Sam Jewell was the guy. But I think they were all the ones.
It's like anything's in life. You have a team, and you have one leader, but they're still part of a team, like a network. Disco Stu says, bet Eric Ten Hag can't wait for a season where he can just focus on football. Exactly. Yeah. People always undermine that shit, the stuff he's had to deal with whilst he's been at the club. The list is fucking endless. And I know managers have to deal with things, and that's part of your job. You have to kind of shift things about and keep everybody above. Like that's a manager's job. But he's done way more than he should have done. Way more. I think we all know that. Not a new stadium, but a rebuild. Confusing about all the news right now. There'll be multiple reports. You see loads of different things, but it's just exciting, even to discuss it. Just a different concept where it'll go.
I think the winning theory is to build a new one, but on the same site as the current one. I think that's the one that they seem to be favouring.
Yeah, for sure. Why do these things happen when I take a nap? Roy Hodgson fired by Crystal Palace today. Yeah. Surely not. He went to the hospital.
Yeah, but I think maybe they're delaying the announcement. He was supposed to be fired today, but I think they've sort of delayed it because he's ended up ill. The guy from, where is he from? Eintracht, is it Frank?
Glasner.
Yeah, is it Eintracht Frankfurt he used to manage, I think?
Oh, he's gone Palace now, is he?
I think he's the next one. I don't know if they've officially announced it, but I think, yeah.
Interesting. We've got a new medical boss now because of all this. Well, yeah, we need one. We definitely need one. About 60% of Class A shareholders are willing to sell. Explains why the share price dropped by 12% today. Dan Ashworth is saying Jose was the best since Fergie, and don't forget what he said about certain players, Pogba, Martial, and I think it was Rashford. That thing sticks. But that has stuck with a lot of managers. What Rangnick said, what Mourinho said, what loads of managers. It's their legacy is almost what they've said in press conferences, exposing the club. I think.
It shows as well, even with the players like we don't think are good enough, but every single one of those managers are picked because of the commitment and the hard work they put in. Like Scott McTominay, for example, we don't think he's good enough, but there's a reason why every single manager has picked him. So there you go.
For sure. I'd love to see Jose at Newcastle, says Harrison. That is my bet for the summer.
I think
Jose Mourinho,
possibility.
Newcastle, it's happening. I'm telling you, I'm bringing back. Because that's such a competitive league then. Unai Emery at fucking Aston Villa. Whoever takes over at Liverpool, Xabi Alonso comes in there, Pep's going to stay at City, Ten Hag at United, like, hugely competitive. Postecoglou at Spurs.
Yeah.
It's why it's the best league in the world, man. It really, really is. And the last question before we head off. So Ashworth told his team which player to scout. That what you're saying. But it's just a network, isn't it? Like, you have this kind of scouting network, or recruitment network, should I say. You speak to your scouts, you speak to other people in the team, you develop a communication line, and you go get the players. I think that's how it works.
I think Ashworth would have, like, the sort of, like, to put it in, like, the industry I work in, you'd have, like, a CEO or manager who has the strategy, and he's like, right, this is how I want the club to operate, this is how I want to approach recruitment and stuff like that. And then you go out and be like, right, I need a guy who's really good at identifying talent, who's the best guy. Sam Jewell, cool. And then they'll get together like, this is how I want to operate, this is what the sort of players I want to look at and try and find. And then the guy will be like, yeah, I've got scouting networks set up in this country, I'll give you reports, I'll give you players, I'll bring them to you, we can discuss it, find out, and then you discuss with the manager. I think it's all interconnected, there's all roots, and lines and stuff all connected, so everything works as a unit, which is something that United have never had post Fergie, and that's why we're all at sea with fucking transfers, and why every other club gets it spot on 9 times out of 10, because they have this all connected up dot to dot sort of thing, which is what we're now trying to build, hopefully.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Right, we're going to leave things there. We have the preview tomorrow for the Luton game, so make sure you come and join us for that. Get your score predictions in, team predictions, and we'll have a chat. Saturday, there's going to be a members video dropping, so keep an eye out for that, all you members. If you want to become a member, click the link in the bio or click the join button next to the notification bell. And then Sunday, we'll be live for the game as well, this time with the pre-match and post-match, because I wasn't available last time. Apologies about that. But I will be available on Sunday. I'll be live on TikTok as well, so make sure you come and join us. Please do leave a like on the video if you can, just before you head off. Subscribe, share to a friend, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, because it's Friday tomorrow, so something to smile about, Sam.
Oh yeah, well I've had good news in my personal life, so everything's all good this weekend. Follow all the socials as well, above our heads there. Yeah. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I always forget Facebook as well. We are on Facebook as well, but yeah. go check out all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys. Thank you to all of you, all a bunch of legends, for constantly tuning in and interacting. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Yeah, peace.
Peace.